manufacturing toxic prescription drugs, that's only the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Big Pharma. Let's have a listen to Dr. Matthias Rath as he describes the way that three big pharma companies, Bayer, Hoechst, and BASF, they were responsible directly for creating concentration camps of Birkenau and Auschwitz.
We were in Auschwitz because we have a friendship with some of the survivors that are still alive from that time. And it is, since you asked me this question, I may just spend a moment on something that is very little known about Auschwitz. We've been told in the history book it was a camp that was built to annihilate Jewish people and Slavic people and people that the Nazis didn't like in the conquered countries. But what made Auschwitz the mega death extermination camp was actually the decision by Bayer, Hoechst, and BASF to build the largest industrial plant of wartime in Europe. It is called IG Auschwitz, a 100% subsidiary of Bayer, Hoechst, and BASF. And the plant was 8 kilometers long, about 5 miles long, and 2 miles wide. So it's a giant industrial area. And the Birkenau concentration camp, the huge camp that was featured in Schindler's List in that movie, was a deliberate decision to supply slave labor for the construction of this industrial plant. So without the interest that we just touched upon, that put profits over lives, Auschwitz would never have had this meaning. The decision of Wannsee, which was the decision by the Nazis to exterminate the Jewish people, was taken roughly 1 year after the decision of AGFA to build this plant. So the Nazis used the death apparatus that was already existing because of the slave labor camp being in existence. The chimneys were burning. AGFA was not taking care of the sick people. After 3 months on average, the people were emasculated, and so they were just put to the gas chamber and shut up in the chimney. So I used a few more sentences in the novel to exemplify, if we are talking today that there is an industry among humanity that sacrifices millions of lives or puts them at risk for profit, we are sometimes, you included, being attacked as being out of this world, conspiracy people. Now, we turn around, we look at Auschwitz, we look at the industrial plant, we look at the concentration extermination plant being built, initially built, to serve as slave labor camp for that purpose. And we can say, they've done it before.
I'm literally speechless. Millions of Jews were annihilated during World War II, and those concentration camps were built by Big Pharma to provide slave labor. As Dr. Rath said, they've done it before, they'll do it again. We must understand that people's lives, once again, are being sacrificed for the almighty dollar. Did you learn this in history class? I certainly didn't. But please keep an open mind as we're approaching these subjects. We must understand history if we're going to understand the current state of modern medicine.
I'm a German. I didn't learn anything about that. I was 35 years old when I learned about Bayer, BASF, the largest pharmaceutical companies at that time, were actually building or responsible for the extermination camp at Auschwitz. And then I wanted to know more, and there was nothing. So we finally found in the archives of the U.S. In Washington, the U.S. National Library, the records of case number 6 of the Nuremberg War Crime Tribunals. We are told that there was only one tribunal against the main war criminals, but in fact there were 12. Number 6 was against Bayer, BASF, and Hoechst at that time. They were forming a cartel by the name of AGFA. And that whole case lasted an entire year against 24 managers of these pharmaceutical and chemical companies. And it showed that they were largely financing the rise of the Nazis to power, that they supplied 100% of the raw materials so that the Nazis could lead their war, including 100% of the synthetic gasoline, rubber, 100% of the explosives. The report came to the conclusion, the US prosecutor said, without AGFA, World War II would not have been possible. In other words, we have to redefine history. Even if we talk about cancer today, we need to know those things. That these interests for expanding patented product markets worldwide, they were risking eventually, they were responsible for the death of 60 million people in World War II. And that shows you the dimension of the topic that we are talking about today. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that these interests will not do if the profit is high enough, then and now.
Did you know that one of the 12 Nuremberg tribunals was actually against Big Pharma? World War II actually could never have happened without the involvement of big pharmaceutical companies, specifically IG Farben.